update is coming. An update is coming. Hello, fellow brawlers. An update is on its way. Hello, fellow brawlers. I'm KairosTime, and it is time to brawl. This video is all about the next update, and we're going to cover 3 important things. We're going to talk about what we know is coming in this update. I'm going to predict what I think is going to happen in this update, and I'm going to talk about what I hope is coming in this update. Okay, guys, I'm going to be very clear in this video whether I'm talking about what we know, what I'm predicting, and what I am hoping for. But one thing is for sure, we know that Brawl Stars is getting an update very soon. After all, Season 2 for the Brawl Pass, The Summer of Monsters, is ending on September 14th, and if Brawl Stars does their update like they did the last update, that would mean that we're going to get a Brawl Talk on September 5th, with an update happening sometime the following week. Now let's talk about what we know. Obviously nothing is guaranteed, but I'm like 99% certain that we will get a 3rd season of the Brawl Pass that will come with a chromatic brawler. Obviously I think that the Brawl Pass has gone very well for Supercell, and I can't imagine them wanting to change that. As for what the brawlers themes and the mechanics are, I'm gonna do a little bit of predicting based off of my understanding of the game's history and what's missing, as well as some possible brawl news. But first we need to talk about 3 possible themes that the next brawler is going to be coming from, or the possible environment that we're going to be getting, right? Those 3 themes are space, dinosaurs / Jurassic, and then of course carnival / theme park. I have strong reasons to believe that the next brawler is going to be from one of these 3 themes, or at least one of these themes is coming to Brawl Stars, and I'm going to talk about why. First, let's talk about the space, right? In a recent Brawl Theory video, I talked about the reasons why I think we're going to be getting a spaced themed update sometime, possibly in the next update. There were obviously a lot of hints littered about it throughout the 8-bit minigame, and the space theme would be the perfect addition to a Brawl Stars theme park. And then of course, I think that a space theme would obviously come with a couple of the original designs for brawlers way back when Brawl Stars was still a space themed game called Project Laser. Now we don't know this for sure, but I would not be surprised if we saw the chicken and the dog from the 8-bit minigame as the next brawlers coming in the next update. First of all, let's talk about the dog brawler, who I'm just going to call General. I think that this would be the perfect fit for a beast mode mechanic that I feel like Brawl Stars is currently missing, and that I expect to be added into the game someday. He'd start out in a match just like he regularly is, probably shooting some sort of like laser pistol or something spacey like that. And then for his super, he would inject himself with something that makes him transform into a super fast melee beast that allows him to deal a ton of damage really quickly for a few seconds, like crazy amounts, right? But after the effect wears off, he would transform back into himself and be dazed for a second while he regains his strength. Now, there's a chance it might not be happening in this update, but mark my words, someday we are going to get some sort of a transforming brawler that has some sort of beast mode mechanic like this. As for this chicken brawler, I'm going to call him Cluck. I imagine him carrying a large plasma cannon that hits super hard over a long range, but he would have a slower than normal walk speed. Not quite as slow as 8-bit, but slower than normal. For a super, I've mentioned this before, but I think it would be awesome if he threw down 2 turrets that acted as portal doors. When he uses his super, he would select the location of one of the portals to be thrown like a thrower attack, and the second portal will open up where he is standing. Him and other brawlers would then be able to travel through the portals and teleport from one location to another on the map, but projectiles would not be able to travel. So kind of think about this like a jump pad, but it would be more instant, and each portal would have a certain amount of hit points, and the portals would explode if either of their HPs would reach 0. I've mentioned these mechanics in the past, and I'm mentioning it again for 2 main reasons. First is because they would be perfect with a space themed brawler, and second is the fact that I feel like these would be great mechanics to have in the game that do not currently exist. I mean, obviously we do have 8-bit and Surge who can teleport, but nobody can create a portal that allows other brawlers to teleport. The fact that the mechanic is already programmed into the game with Surge's and 8-bit's gadgets is just more reason for Supercell to do this, right? They'd be able to kind of cut corners in some sort of way. Now those are 2 possible space themed brawlers, but what about the other themes? Next, let's talk about the possibility of a dinosaur / Jurassic themed update. Back before the last update, I speculated that the Rampage dinosaur would actually turn out to be the second brawler from the last update. He would have a super that allows him to jump and stun enemies that he lands on, and then he attacks with super strong jaws and teeth and possibly even claws or something like that with his gadget. Obviously, I ended up being wrong about the last update, but Frank and Danny from Supercell left a couple of comments on Twitter that had me thinking that maybe we would be getting some sort of dinosaur themed update, and that this guy might actually be a brawler named Kaiju being released into the game. You see, way back when El Primo's asteroid belt gadget was released, Frank released a tweet that said, "And that, children, is how the dinosaurs became extinct." I honestly didn't think about it very much. It was just kind of a funny joke. It was good. But recently, Danny asked somebody to give them a brawler or gadget. You know, people are kind of annoying on Reddit, like, give me free stuff. But Danny responded by saying, only if you give me a dinosaur. Now, the person that Danny was responding to was named Jurassic Park, and the reference to the meteors was absolutely justification for Frank to mention dinosaurs enough. But the fact that both of them mentioned dinosaurs has me wondering if it's actually not a coincidence and that we are getting some sort of a Jurassic themed update, or possibly a Jurassic themed brawler, right? I would not be surprised at all, since a prehistoric theme would also be a great fit for a theme park. In fact, I already predicted months ago that we would eventually be getting some sort of a space theme or a Jurassic theme in some sort of future Brawl Stars update. So what about a carnival theme? If you have not seen my Brawl Theory video about talking about why Brawl Stars is a theme park, then you absolutely need to do it because there is a ton of evidence. The whole theory behind that was actually first discovered by somebody on Reddit named Gamba, or he also goes by Ifahor, sorry if I said that wrong. And recently he was sent something very interesting. A man wearing a cactus mask, kind of looks like Spike, delivered a box to him from Supercell. On the box was stamped Star Park, and inside was the star crown that we've been seeing in the game, along with a shirt and a laptop. Now, the laptop led to a mystery that honestly, I could talk about that for a whole other video, so I'm going to be saving that. But it seems like Supercell is putting something big together that is suggesting that Brawl Stars' theme park theory might be revealed sometime here soon. Something, maybe even possibly something leading up to this next update. And that's why I think there's a good chance of Supercell doing some sort of a carnival themed update this update. The fact that Gamba was the first person to really catch on to the fact that Brawl Stars could possibly be a theme park, and the fact that Supercell has sent him a package with the Star Park is just like, it just makes sense that something big is happening, or at least something very revealing about Brawl Stars is going to happen. And that actually has me really confused because both Frank and Ryan have led me to believe that this is going to be a smaller update. In fact, Ryan said that the team has only been back from summer holiday for like a few weeks and that the update is going to be a mini one. And then later he said that this could possibly be the smallest update of the year. But on the other hand, we also have something very interesting being hyped up regarding Star Park, finally telling us what this star with 2 R's actually means. And the last update was actually a rather small one. And having 2 small updates in a row, I don't think would be very good for the game. And I honestly think that the game is actually in a great spot right now, way better than I thought it would be by the end of summer. But I imagine that Supercell would have wanted it to be a bigger update. In fact, I predicted that the last update was so small because I thought they were going to be putting so much effort into this one and making their post-summer update as good as it possibly could be. My idea process is that the Brawl Stars team had been working on building up a lot of stuff for the post-summer update, because post-summer updates for Supercell have traditionally been really big letdowns for both Clash of Clans and Clash Royale. So I honestly don't know what to tell you guys, right? I'm not entirely convinced that this is going to be a small update, but at the same time, I would understand the justification for this update being small if it actually turns out to be. Okay, now we talked about the things that we know are happening with the update, as we also done a little bit of speculation, but now I wanted to talk about some things that I think might be coming in this update. The biggest possibly I could think of would be some sort of in-game map maker. Now, the credit behind this absolutely goes to Lex. He's already talked about this in the past, why it might be happening, and he has some really good reasoning behind it. Frank recently was doing a lot of Twitter polls to get a good feel for how the community likes various maps. And Frank specifically said, you don't have to post about a map editor. We're aware that this would be cool. And then he put a winky face, almost like he's taunting us. Additionally, he was actually asked about, doing some sort of a possible Supercell make website for maps. And in response, he said that they have other ideas for maps in the mid to long term. And that tells me that there's a very good chance that we will be getting some sort of a map editor in game, but it's not likely going to happen this update. If it were happening this update, he either would not have responded or he wouldn't have said that it would be a long-term idea for maps. One thing that I do think is likely going to be happening in this update is some sort of a revamp to Power Play. Frank straight up asked people on Twitter what their favorite competitive mode was in other games and said that they're considering revamping Power Play. My guess is that they want to do something to make it a little bit more meaningful for more players, and I think there's a good chance that they're going to do something to remove the limitation that you have to have brawlers maxed out in order for you to participate. But of course, only time is going to tell. Now, we also know that there is a very good chance that we could be getting True Gold and True Silver silver skins, though they may actually do that later on. I also think that it is highly likely that we will be getting more second gadgets for the rest of the brawlers. We got 10 second gadgets for the last update, and there's still 28 brawlers out there that only have one gadget. Now, if Brawl Stars keeps this update small, they'll probably only do another 10 for this update, maybe another 9 or however long the season's going to be. And if this update is going to be bigger, I would be surprised if they release all 28 gadgets in one update and release them like for a week or something like that. Now, I wanted to talk about something that I know is on your guys' mind, the possibility of Club Wars being released in Brawl Stars. Clash Royale recently released version 2 of Clan Wars for their game, and Frank asked if there's anything about it that they should actually consider to possibly add into Brawl Stars' version of Club Wars. It is very clear that Brawl Stars needs some sort of attention on the social aspect of the game. At the start of the year, I said that Supercell would need to address 3 big areas or the game would struggle. They've already addressed 2 of them. They addressed monetization with pins and Brawl Pass, and they addressed game depth with gadgets and second gadgets. The third issue was the lack of social reasons to keep playing Brawl Stars. I don't know about you guys, but it has been months since I've ever read my club chat. I mostly play with randoms, and nothing about the game actually brings me to want to socialize with other players, except for power play, but most players don't actually have enough brawlers at max level to feel like they can actually contribute to power play. And this is a big issue that Brawl Stars needs to address. I don't think that we're going to be getting Club Wars this update, since if it was already coming, the structure of it would already be solidified, and Frank wouldn't be asking us our thoughts on Clan Wars 2 for Clash Royale. One thing that I love about Brawl Stars is how well they've made Brawl Stars amazing because of Brawl Stars, with the game of Brawl Stars as it is, and not because of its influence from other games. And coming up with the right Club War system for Brawl Stars is going to take time, and it would likely be the biggest update Brawl Stars would ever see. And I'd be very shocked if they released their largest update ever in the history of Brawl Stars right after summer. I would not be surprised if Supercell did some things to improve social aspects of the game this update, but I don't think it's going to be Clan Wars yet. Now I wanted to briefly touch on my wish list for this update. This is my wish list. This is not predictions or my expectations for this update. I just want to talk about a few other things that I hope is coming in Brawl Stars this update or in a future update or eventually. I've said it before that I think that pins are a little bit overpriced for being just static images. I'd love it if they updated them to be a little bit more animated and made it easier for people to acquire more pins more frequently. I'd also love to see 2 new brawlers this update. Season 2 of Brawl Pass was 10 days longer than Season 1, and we got 1 less brawler. Now, I'd be understanding if Supercell only had time to put 1 in after the holiday, but I'm really hoping for 2. Surge was fun, love him, such a great brawler to be put into the game, and I want more new awesome brawlers. The team is just really fantastic at coming up with really great ideas to put into the game. So that's what I want, right? I want 2 of them. If Supercell does add a new environment, I also really hope that it comes with some new interactive mechanics to make it really fun and enjoyable, right? I love jump pads. I love the mines. I love that interactivity of the smoke in Showdown, which I know that that's been in there for a long time, but you get the idea. If there is a space environment, I would love it if they put portals into the map so that you can actually teleport around and stuff like that. If it's a carnival theme, I'm hoping for the ability to jump into like a roller coaster cart as it's passing by so that you can go around and like run into enemy brawlers or shoot while you're moving super fast or something like that. If it's a Jurassic environment, I think it would be way awesome if you could somehow mount a dinosaur and then attack enemies with it until its health actually depletes. That would be awesome. Another thing that I would really love is a new game mode. I am loving the current rotation of game modes. I really love it. It's way more fun since they added Hot Zone in there. I feel like the rotation is just great for me. But it has been a very long time since we've tried anything new. I think it would be really cool if Supercell could come up with a new fun solo mode or even a 5v5 mode, both of which I've talked about in the past, and I expect it's going to happen sometime in the future, but I hope that it's this update. I'm really curious to know what you guys thought about this video, and I'm really wanting to know what your wish list is for the next update or just any update in the future. No matter what happens, I am going to be covering the Brawl Stars update in depth as quickly as I possibly can, so make sure you guys subscribe for that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Use code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop, and for now, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.